Anish Damania, MD and CEO of Institutional Equities and ECM at GEM Financial Institutional Securities, joins us on the show. Anish, good having you. Been a while. Thanks for joining in. How are you guys positioning the central message at the conference? Has India, have Indian markets corrected enough for people to buy into it? Because it's also a conference that is happening on the backdrop or on the back of a fairly lackluster earnings season.
Yeah, true. I think there was a reasonable expectation in the market that earnings cuts are expected to happen, and I think that has come through. Also, it was on the back of even the previous quarter we had seen earnings downgrade. So, I think this time, the correction in the market has been for two reasons. One is that there was a lot of euphoria about 2.5 months, or till about two months back. And that kind of kept the prices higher, and despite the earnings disappointment in that quarter, market still went up. So I guess now that another quarter of disappointments in earnings, market had to correct, and the commentaries which people saw on the rural and the consumption slowdown also kind of spooked the markets to that extent. FIs were continuous sellers. Some of the reasons were shift trades from India to China or elsewhere. So I guess a combination of all of that had a large correction, especially in the small and the mid caps, and moderate correction in the large caps. I think more or less we feel that correction is due. If you look at our conference, there are 175 corporates which have signed up. Nearly 50% of those corporates are represented by CEOs, MDs, or promoters. And when I see that kind of a participation from the top level management in a particular event, I feel that there is a story to tell. So my sense is, from whatever I hear, is that the first half was not that great, but the second half is expected to be a lot better. I think the key things which are coming about is a talk on government spending, which was a little bit muted or lower in the first half, and because of elections, etc. And now all of that would probably come through in the second half. So given that kind of a feeling, a lot of corporates are feeling very positive about that, and are kind of at our conference to talk about what those individual companies are doing.
Anish, hi, good morning, and great to speak with you, and great to have you here on NDTV Profit with us. Tamanna here. I'm wondering, what are the buzzwords at the conference this year? Are people talking about any concerns at all on the consumption front, on the economy front? Is there a sense also now that valuation concerns are behind us, stocks have come off, and now is the time to buy? What is the kind of mood?
I think if you look at the domestics, they have been continuous buyers. I think the flow has been quite decent, and that continues. The second is that a lot of corporates have raised money in the last 6 months, and we'll probably see a more lineup of that. I see that as a confidence also from the corporates to take that next leap of faith. Among the several corporates that I speak to, a lot of them want to raise money for their new capex programs. Some of them are still wanting to deleverage their balance sheets completely and become almost debt-free, so that they can take their next plans of growth forward. So I guess we have seen, with the kind of money raise, both from the promoters as well as the corporates, I think the leverage has come down for the corporates. They have raised money for their growth plans. For the first time, I am seeing a leap of faith by the corporates in terms of setting up very large, ambitious programs for their CEOs, and the MDs have been asked to step up on their growth plans. So I think across the board, I'm seeing a newfound enthusiasm despite what's happened in the market or the correction. I'm continuing to see a lot more positive commentary from a lot more business leaders.
Anisha, hi, it's Amina joining in, and I'll take a cue from what you said. First, start by telling me what companies are you featuring at this conference, and you said commentary from a whole lot of business leaders is positive. You want to walk me through which these business leaders are, what sectors are they in? So that gives us a sense of what we should expect in the second half of the year, because we are coming out of a very tough quarter.
Yeah, sure. I think even if you were to look at the, I'll just step back a bit, and I would say let's look at the quarterly results. I think there were disappointments, but there were quite of beats as well. We saw a lot of beats coming from the PSU banks. We saw earnings beat coming from pharmaceuticals. We saw earnings beat coming from some of the tech companies. We saw a beat coming from some of the manufacturing firms like the EMS. I guess most of the good talk that is happening are the guys who are in the manufacturing space. So that is a big trend which India is seeing, and to my mind, most of the corporate commentary who are involved in the manufacturing, be it pharma, be it precision equipments, be it capital goods, be it normal products, be it manufactured item made out of steel, made out of aluminum, or castings, or automobile components. Each of those areas I'm seeing a lot more insights from the promoters. Also chemicals.
Yeah, so you mentioned chemicals, you mentioned auto components. Have you sort of heard about a slowdown in this urban consumption that everyone is talking about? And if yes, are these companies constructive about a pickup on urban consumption in the second half of the year?
Yeah, I think consumption is something which has kind of come about as a slow trend, and that is now visible everywhere. So it will take some time for it to pick up. I guess it all needs more investments from both corporates as well as the government, which I think in the second half we'll start seeing. So we'll start seeing the pickup in urban consumption probably from next year first quarter onwards.